So the first thing we need to do for this technique is same as last time. We need to put our piece of acetate over our window. So we're going to use some Distress Collage Medium again to do that. I like using the Distress Collage Medium because it dries completely clear and it also dries matte. So if you get it a little bit on your cardstock, you're never going to see that it was there. It's very forgiving that way. So in the last card, we used Copics to color our window, our stained glass. In this one, we're going to use some glossy gel medium, some gloss gel medium, and we're going to use alcohol inks to color that gloss gel medium rather than just coloring it with Copics. I wanted to show you a different way to do it, so there's a bit of variety in ways that you can create this same look. There we go. So we're going to make sure that that window is completely covered. And then we are going to glue our pieces on the front. So same as last time, there's one piece that we are not going to glue onto the front, so I'm tucking that to the side right away. And I'm putting my glue all the way around the edges and also around that tree. So once again, we're kind of creating a bit of a seal. So I'm making sure to put the glue out in those little sticky out points. I want to make sure that they are glued down and that they're not flipping up. And you don't need a big bead of glue, just a little one is fine. And then once again, we are matching our die cuts perfectly. If by chance when you've die cut, something has shifted and you've got your edges don't line up, just wait until you're done your card and then you can just trim it a little bit. Sometimes, despite our best efforts to try to get things perfectly lined up, things happen. The pressure of the machine moves the die. Just something just shifts or whatever. So there is a way to fix it afterwards, and it's just trimming it. And I typically do use the scissors because it's a little bit easier. You could use, I have a guillotine trimmer that goes through several sheets of cardstock at once. You could use that. But because we have 4 sheets of cardstock, it doesn't necessarily like that much cardstock. So I tend to use scissors because usually it's only a little bit of a sliver that needs to be trimmed. There we go. Just wanted to squeeze that bottle a bit because the glue line was getting a little bit narrow. All right, once again, lining everything up into place. Because we're using liquid glue too, it's very easy to shimmy things out if it doesn't lay down perfectly the first time. I'm going to put an acrylic block down just to hold it in place while we are mixing up our colors. So you could use one color of gel medium, that would totally work. I decided to use 2 different colors, or sorry, the gloss medium is clear. It's, I mean 2 different colors of alcohol ink. So I'm going to put a little bit of a well in each one of them. You could also use dye reinkers, that would work here as well. I chose to use alcohol ink simply because the way we're coloring our acetate is with alcohol markers, and I just wanted to keep that the same, but you absolutely could use dye reinkers for this, that would work. Or even if you have a dye ink pad, you could smush it on your surface and then blend your gloss medium through that. That works as well. All right. Mix that all through, and then let's mix the second color. There we go. I tried to choose greens that were a little bit in the same color family, but clearly they're a little bit off, but that's okay, they're going to blend. So we're using a palette knife here, and I'm just trying to get a blend of the 2 different colors. I'm not necessarily making sure that it's all covered evenly. I want to see little bits, because when you go out in nature and see trees, they're not all the same shade throughout the whole tree. And don't worry about any of the stuff that's on the cardstock because we are going to get the excess off. I'm just trying to make sure that everything has some in it first, and then we're going to go like this and we're going to even it up. There we go. This we need to let dry, and this one absolutely will take all night to dry, so best to do it, say, at night and then finish your card in the morning, or do it first thing in the morning and then plan on finishing your card at night. But this is the reason why we kept that other one, because there's no way to avoid this. So now we have something to go over top of it that is going to cover that, and it's going to make it look pristine again. So tuck that aside to dry, and I'll see you once it's dry tomorrow and we'll finish the card off. Got a little ahead of myself there. What I want to do tonight so that it is prepped for tomorrow is I'm going to put the embossing powder on one of the trees. The other one is going to stay white. We don't need any powder over that one. So what I'm going to do is put it on a piece of scrap paper, get my Versamark pad, press it all over that die cut, making sure that we've got the ink all over it. Now I'm not going to pour my powder on this piece of paper because I've been squishing my ink pad and it would stick to all that ink there. So I'm going to put it onto a clean scrap piece of paper. And you can be very liberal with your powder here because anything that does not stick to that die cut is going to go right back into the container. Tap the excess off lightly. There we go. So I'm going to use my die pick to hold it in place while I am embossing. That way it's not going to go around in the way. And if by chance when you're done you get a little piece of white there, we can just press the pad in it again just to fill that spot up. Typically I don't get that, but I must have moved my die pick as it was embossing and kind of scraped a little bit of that powder off, but easy enough to fix. So now I can just hold it in my hand because everything else is dry and cool. Now if you couldn't see it, it goes from like a granular dull color to like a molten shiny gold. There we go. So that is ready for tomorrow now, and now I'll really see you tomorrow to finish the card off.